All right, Daily Herald here with James Chance, trying to find out how he feels about the central bank issues as far as Curacao trying to separate and have their own central banking system apart from St. Martin. And so what we're trying to find out here is, let's say we do separate. Do you think it's a good idea, a bad idea to separate from Curacao?
Well, you know, it's almost on the verge of that already, so I think I would prefer to stick with the dollars, simply because the dollars is well known. The guilders is a little small issue around here.
Right, and taking into consideration the resources that are already set up in Curacao, do you think it would be a better idea to hire our own staff now that we are Country St. Martin, or would it be a better idea to just go ahead and take advantage of what's already set up in Curacao?
Well, one step at a time. I think that St. Martin needs a little help to get the people in positions. So they gotta, like, you could bring people from Holland or Curacao and teach them the ropes, because they need some little help with that concern.
Moving towards dollars or guilders, what would be the appropriate choice and why?
I don't see any advantage of having guilders for two islands. I mean, that seems like it's quite a bit of cost just in order to print them, and then for what? Just to basically transfer them into dollars, which is what we've been doing for years. You know, St. Martin historically has always been 1.78 guilders to the dollar. It's always been hooked into the dollar, so why not just use it?
Okay, so we're here with Arun Jagtiani, owner of the Island Real Estate Team, just trying to get some opinions on exactly what's going to happen with the central bank in Curacao. So first off, do you think it's going to be a good idea to separate, taking into consideration that the resources are already set up over there to manage the central bank?
To be honest, I don't know all the details as to what resources are in Curacao versus here, but I do think our economies are separate.
Okay.
Although there's a lot of common areas, I think it should be the ultimate goal that it transitions to the point where St. Martin has its own central bank and Curacao has its own central bank.
Okay.
That may not be easy to do overnight, but I think that should certainly be the long-term goal, so that we can manage our own economy here and they can manage theirs over there. We use a dollar economy here. We make our money in dollars. We deal with a lot of American clientele, Canadian clientele as well. But one thing I really hate about the dollar guilder thing is the 1%. We are charged 1% every time we deal in dollars, yet all of our money flows into dollars. So to have that 1% taken away would be huge, not just on myself, but to everyone I speak to almost. I think there are few people who actually benefit from that 1% as opposed to the general public. So with everybody with the majority of money generated on this island being in US dollars, and then us, for the general public to be penalized for using the dollars, it hurts, to tell you the truth. 1% on every transaction you do in dollars, I'd like to see that taken away with.
A lot of people are speculating that once we do establish a central bank, the next step is full independence. How do you feel about that?
I don't know if we're ready for full independence at this time. I see a lot of, it's easy to point fingers, but I see a lot of things that need to be fixed, and maybe stronger foundations in place for several, sectors of our economy and our island in general. Full independence, I think it's too far away right now for us. I don't think we're at that stage right now. I don't think it's a topic that we need to be focusing a lot of energy on. I think we need to look at our situation right now, that we've all elected to be in this situation as a country status, and I think we need to do what we can to strengthen this. When we've reached a point where we've outgrown this stage, if you will, then perhaps we can entertain that. And I don't think we're anywhere close to entertaining that.
Okay, so little by little. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
We're here with St. Martiner. She's a cashier at
Piece of Cake.
Her name is
Daniela.
And Piece of Cake is located on
Simpson Bay.
And pretty much what we're trying to establish, Curacao is trying to have their own central bank. St. Martin's trying to establish their own. Do you think it's a good idea to have a central bank here on St. Martin?
Yes, it is. I think a country is entitled to manage their own funds, because you never know what other people might be doing with your funds. So it's a very good idea.
Okay, definitely. And let's say we do move in that direction. Would it be better to go with guilder or dollar, and why?
I think better with dollars, because even though guilders is our national currency, more people use the U.S. and more people are familiar with the U.S., especially the tourists. it's not very good to be under a country. It's good to be independent, do everything on your own, so that you are known as an independent country and not under someone else's decisions for you. Some people might say it's to our benefit because we don't have to spend as much, but if you look at it this way, we can also gain from going on our own instead of being with Curaçao all the time.
Okay, in what way?
Well, by going, we have our local people that know more about St. Martin than Curaçaoians would know. We make more money on our own instead of having to make money from Curaçao, which I'm sure we would have to repay Curaçao some sort of revenue. So, therefore, I think we should go on our own.
I prefer the dollar system because it's easier to maintain due to the fact that our industry are based upon tourism, and most of the money actually comes into the island, comes in from revenues of the tourist department. I mean, we are considering we have a seaport and an airport, and most of the people, I believe, actually who visit our shores is actually from mainland America, and they're the ones that have bringing in US dollar to the country. And I think to stabilize the guilder, I think it'd be better to use one currency, which is the US dollar.
All right, so we're here with Alba Wanish, touch base on exactly what's going on with the central bank. Do you think it's a good idea for St. Martin to have their own central bank and separate from Curaçao?
Definitely. Whatever we can do to erase the remaining of our, I'm not going to take big word and say, because we've been enslaved by Curaçao. They've been pumping us as much as they can, and now I think the last remaining,
Bits and pieces.
It's the best thing for us.
Right.
I agree with the Deputy Prime Minister, Theo Heiliger, that we need to move on our own and be our own country with all our own entities
Right.
on the island.
And definitely, and for those who say that, you know, we already have the resources over there as far as staff to manage the budget, do you think it would sort of fall heavy on St. Martin to establish a central bank? And apart from that, would you prefer to be on a guilder system or a dollar system?
I think the dollar system would be best choice for us because all the tourism that we receive is coming from Canada and the US, and they use dollars. But returning to, they have the resources, they always had the resources, and we were paying them to use their resources, and they would never send us anything, any information, any opportunities that they used to have because they were the central, how you say, they were our government that we had to go through parliament there. So probably we will have to invest, but it's okay. We have to do what we have to do to be our own country finally. Enough of Curaçao treating us like the poor cousin.
Right, definitely. And what a lot of people are pointing to is that after we establish a central bank,
Yeah.
whether it's on a dollar system or a guilder system,
Yeah.
the next step would be full independence. Is that something you want to see? Do you think,
Oh, definitely, yes.
you think St. Martin could hold itself without Curaçao or anybody else?
We will need time. You see, Aruba, it didn't happen from in 2 days, but it is what we need to do.
Okay, well, there you have it. Gabriel Alexander signing off, Daily Herald.